Hey everyone, my name is Rosie and welcome back to my channel. Now, just because I haven't posted that many videos in the past 6 months on this channel doesn't mean I haven't been making things. So today I wanted to share some art that I've made that I haven't talked about yet. Now, some of these pieces are collages that I started and couldn't finish, or full pieces that I made and just ended up not really liking, so I never shared the video with you. And I've also started a new creative hobby that I wanted to share some pieces from, but we'll get to that. And then also at the end, I have some quick updates. But let's jump into the first collage that I made that I haven't shared with you. This first piece is one that I just felt like I never could finish. I found these 3 red phones in a magazine and I thought they'd be the perfect subject to sort of base a collage around. And then I found a character that sort of looked like they were kind of on the phone, and then found this mushroom background and tried to fit them all in the scene. And I just never felt like this piece really came together. And I think there's a couple of reasons for that. The first one is I think this entire piece is just a little bit claustrophobic. The pieces kind of just barely fit and they're all bumping up against the edge. And maybe this background isn't the right background for this. But I think more importantly, the story doesn't make sense. Why would 3 separate animals holding phones be on the phone together, all in the same location? I think that is what the story I just never came together. So I think to solve this, I might have to either separate the 3 characters and have them be on their own pieces, their own backgrounds, and have sort of a series, or do something more creative with the background where maybe I cut it into 3 different sections and then merge them together in a creative way where you have sort of 3 different scenes. So they are on the phone together, but in different locations. And that might fix the story problem. But I also, while I was cleaning up for this video, cleaning up my studio, I found this frame that I have in my collection that has 3 different sort of slots in it. And I was thinking maybe this would be a solution to the pieces, have each of the characters in one of the different sections on a different background. And so it can be together as a series, but they're separate in their little scenes and they're all on the phone together. That might solve this. But at the end of the day, I just never could figure it out. And so I never finished the video, I never edited it, I never shared it with you. So if you have any ideas or liked any of the ideas that I shared as possible solutions, let me know in the comments and maybe I'll revisit this one in the future. It might be fun to do a video where I revisit some of my older pieces and try to fix them, and maybe this will be one of them. But I do like the imagery in this piece. The phones are kind of funny and I like that they're on the phone. I just never could get it fully to work. So this is the first piece that I abandoned and never shared. The next piece I wanted to share is one that I made completely. I filmed the video from start to finish. I glued the collage, I filmed an intro, and then I realized when I was all done with it that I didn't really love what I had made. So I never edited the video, I never uploaded it, I never shared it. And that was a new piece of art for my phone case. So I got a new phone a couple months ago, and if you have watched a lot of my videos, you know I made a phone case for my old phone. I made a whole video about it, I'll link it if you want to see it. And I can no longer use this phone case on my new phone because it's a different size. So I wanted to make a new piece of art to use for my phone case. I wanted to use the first collage that I had made as sort of inspiration for the new piece. I really love the composition and the colors in this. I wanted to keep a mushroom foreground and space background and create some sort of animal human hybrid as the subject. And so this was a big inspiration for the piece that I made, and I will share it now. This is the collage that I ended up making. Now, I really don't hate this piece. I think it's quite nice, and I do think there's elements that I really like about it. I do love that our sloth character is on the phone. You know, this was supposed to be my phone case, so I thought it'd be funny if, the character's on the phone. But there's just something not as compelling and as strong as a composition as my original piece that I made. And I don't know, there's just something about it that I don't love as much. And so it felt kind of disingenuous to me, for me at the end of that video to say, I'm so excited about my new phone case, I love it so much, I'm so excited to see it every day, when that wasn't exactly true. So I ended up just not editing the video and sharing it because it just didn't feel right to me. And I'm sure a lot of you really love what I made and love the piece I ended up with. And I don't hate it, and I do like it too. I just don't love it as much as I wanted to. And I know you're probably thinking I'm being really harsh on myself, but it's just when I'm making videos and sharing things with you all, I want them to be real, and I want the things that I make to be things that I really like. And again, it just felt weird for me to say, I'm so excited about my phone case when I really wasn't. So anyway, let's move on to the next thing. The last pieces of art I wanted to share with you are actually a new creative hobby that I've started. A couple months back, I took a painting class. It was an intro to gouache class. And gouache is a medium that's sort of halfway between watercolor and acrylics. It's basically an opaque watercolor. So after I took that intro to gouache class, I really kind of fell in love with the medium and wanted to share some of the paintings that I've done recently. And the other thing I just wanted to say before we jump into those is it has been really nice for me to have a creative thing that I'm working on that I'm not sharing with other people. That's kind of just for me. I love filming and sharing my collages with you all. I truly do. But to have a time every week, just those couple of hours in my painting class where I don't have to worry about lights and cameras and what I'm going to say to intro the video and, just be able to sit down and paint and not worry about what it looks like or having to share it or anything has just been really nice for me to have this sort of additional creative outlet. So I just wanted to say all that too before we jump into it, because a lot of these pieces are not very good. They're just me having fun and learning a new thing, and it's just been really fun. So I'll first jump into the pieces that I made in the intro to gouache class. This is the very first piece that I made. We sat down and they just said, experiment with the paint. Get just something on the paper. It doesn't really matter what it is. So I made this, which is just, abstract, some shapes, not that great. Then I made this landscape, a fall scene with some mountains in the background, kind of really like the colors in this one. Then I made this bird portrait, pretty simple, but just kind of getting, comfortable with the shapes and things. And this next piece is a study that I did where I basically copied one for one a painting that another painter did. And they recommended this as, just a practice to sort of see how other artists see the world through their paintings. So if I can find the original art that I copied, I will put it on screen and the artist, because this painting is absolutely incredible and I painted this. And yes, I copied someone completely, but what it gave me was the confidence and the ability to know that I can paint like this. So that was a really nice exercise and I'm glad that I did that. And then one of the last paintings I did in that class was this fish. And I think there was also a black and white value study that I did. I don't have it here, but if I have a picture of it, I will put that on screen. So that was kind of the little handful of paintings that I did in gouache, in intro to gouache. And I really fell in love with it. And then I took a second painting class, and this one was specifically focused on florals. So each week we had a different bouquet to paint. So we had to, focus on the flowers, but also the vases. This was one of the first pieces I did in that class. Okay, this orange flower is looking pretty good, but the rest of this is kind of rough. Then I did this piece, I'm trying to also kind of figure out what my style is. Is it a little bit more brush strokey? Do I want it to be more realistic? I'm still trying to work on that. And then we did a couple of pieces with dark backgrounds, and that really helped us understand that having a darker background really makes bright colored flowers really pop off the background. It was an interesting practice. And then here's a smaller piece that I did. I really quite enjoy this piece. I really like the smaller sized paper in this class just because it was only a 2-hour long class. And so I felt like I could finish a piece this small in a class that short. Some of these bigger paintings were really daunting to do in 2 hours. Most of these I did in class with only a little bit of work outside of class, just because I didn't have much time outside of the class. So anyway, here's one of the last pieces that I did. I think the vase on this one is quite good. I focused a lot on that, trying to get the shadows right and the transparency. This painting glass is very, very hard. And then after that class, I'm now in the middle of gouache 2. So my third painting class, but this is a continuation of Gouache 1. And this was the same teacher that I had in my first class. With no focus, you kind of can just paint whatever you want. So one of the first paintings we did was a poster style. So these are all sort of flat colors. So I picked this barn scene, which I thought was kind of interesting. And then we did botanicals, which I had some experience from my last class. And I think that this piece came out pretty great, actually. I really loved the flowers that I made here. And then we focused on textures. I made this painting of a house sitting on a rock. We used a lot of scraping techniques to get different textures with the paint. And I also added color pencil onto this because you can use color pencils with gouache, which is kind of a nice thing you can add on top. So I really love this piece. And then the one I'm working on right now is, we're talking about perspective and adding distance to your pieces. So I'm focusing a lot on making sure my background elements here, so these mountains in the background, are fuzzy and look like they're in the distance. I still have to finish this piece up by adding some grass elements in the front here, but I think the background of this is working really well. And I'm pretty happy with how this piece is coming together. So those are all the gouache paintings that I've made. I hope that you found that interesting. I'm quite enjoying taking a painting class. Taking an art class in general has been really, really fun for me. I love having, again, that scheduled time throughout the week where I know I'm going to sit down and be creative with a bunch of other people in class. And it's been really fun. So I highly recommend, if you are kind of missing that creative outlet and you want to try to find that, if you have any, sort of local classes that you can take in your area, highly recommend. It's really, really fun. That's all the art I wanted to share today, but before I end this video, I have a couple quick updates. The first thing I meant to mention in my last video, I just totally spaced, and that is how the postcard giveaway ended. If you missed it at the beginning of the year, I made 4 collage postcards and ran a giveaway and sent a postcard to 4 different winners. You can watch the video on that if you want to see the process on how those were made. I ended up sending 3 of the 4 postcards outside of the US, which is where I'm based. I thought it would be the other way around. I would send 3 to the US and maybe 1 internationally, but it was so cool to be able to send my postcards all over the world. So maybe I'll do another giveaway sometime. That was just very fun. The second update I wanted to give quickly is on my new job, just because I've seen a couple comments about it. My new job is going really well. I'm finally over that beginner stage of starting a new job. The first 3 to 6 months are kind of hard at a new job as you learn new processes, a new business, working with different people, all of that. But it's going really well, so thank you for asking. I really appreciate it. I think that's everything I wanted to mention in this video. Kind of a different video than my normal content, but I thought that you all might like seeing my paintings, and I wanted to share some of that with all of you. So anyway, I hope that you all have a lovely day, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.